Hello my marvellous sausages. I've been mucking about with the new Outriders demo on the PlayStation 5 actually has been my want. Now I hadn't made the video straight away because I've really wanted to put it through its paces really and to see what it's got, because everyone's talking about it being a Destiny killer and blah 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 blah. No, yeah, well that's not going to happen. However, it is entirely a completely different kind of game to Destiny. Now I don't know if you've seen the trailers and stuff for it, because you've got subclasses and you've got guns and you've got elemental powers and all that, so you can see where those similarities are drawn from, but that's kind of where it stops really. First of all, it's a third-person game, not a first-person game, which kind of changes the entire nature of it. Secondly, it's a much grittier kind of game, and it's an 18, so there's a lot of gore in it really compared to the zero gore in Destiny if you think about it, and also there's a bit of swearing and adult themes and all that kind of stuff, so it's a different beast entirely. The gameplay is completely different too. So let me tell you about the demo itself first of all. Now the demo lasts about 3 hours and you can play with each of the individual classes. You've got a Technomancer, a Trickster, a Devastator and a Pyromancer. Now I picked the Technomancer as my first playthrough because it's not really equivalent to anything that I've played in other games before, so it really tweaked my interest. It's got a really cool conjuring weapons out of magic vibe and I like that. And I've also played with the Devastator class as well, which is, I suppose, could be like a Titan. You can smash things in the face and, you know, generally get up close and personal if you enjoy your killing done when you can see the light winking out of their eyes. Now when you start the demo, it's quite a long-winded start actually, and there's loads of lore that drops as well, which gives you lots of background. That does help you kind of sympathise with the characters, but there was a few technical problems I noticed in the demo. The camera sort of wobbles about all over the place too much in the cutscenes, and I've noticed as well the lip sync is completely off. They'll open their mouth and then the dialogue will come a little bit later, so that's something they need to sort out, although looking at the forums they are on all the feedback that people are giving them, which is a really good sign.
How do you know about that?
Story. You a collector?
I've read that some people found the cutscenes cheesy, but I actually thought they were pretty good. They were funny. I think they suit the game, and I also think the voice acting is great too. It's done tongue-in-cheek. That's the phrase for me. There was two particularly funny bits that I noticed. One of them was talking about this chap from the UK, Maxwell. I can't even remember what his name is, but you know, he was one of the evil corporate bods. But if you look at his little bio, it said he rose to power after the second time the United Kingdom left the EU. So it looks like we're all going to have to go through that Brexit bollocks a second time. But once you get the prologue out of the way, you can jump into the game proper. I won't give the story away or anything like that because it's a free demo and you can have a little look for yourself. So first of all, let's talk about the gameplay and the combat. Now I use the Technomancer quite a lot, but they're all the same in regard to the fact that they've got 3 weapon slots or superpower slots at the bottom, and then you can pick which ones you want to go into those slots because you have a choice of different attacks and different powers. The controls on this were odd because you could tap it just to throw the grenade, but if you held the button you could then say where you wanted it to go. But if you're trying to launch it from behind cover, the camera ducks down behind your character so you can't really see where you're going to be throwing it. The same goes for the 2 turrets that you've got as well. You've kind of got like a freeze turret which freezes people, and you've also got like an artillery turret that does the same. Now if you want to chuck the freeze turret, which you can do in the same way as the grenade, sometimes it's difficult to see where you can put it, so that's one of my bugbears about that. The artillery tower just appears right next to you. But aside from that little niggle, using that tower is great. It's really strategic. What I was doing was I was throwing it sort of behind enemy lines because it freezes the targets, but it also draws their fire, and then you can come out of cover and start taking them out. So there's a lot of strategy involved as well. One of the other problems with the controls I noticed was the cover system. You tap a button to go from cover to cover to cover, but sometimes it gets confused or it doesn't really differentiate between which side of the cover you're going to be jumping to, so you can find yourself having a lot of enemy fire smacking you in the face. Although you are quite tanky, and the more killing that you do, the more health that you get. There's no health packs in this game. Killing gives you health. and the type of killing or the way you're killing, dependent on your subclass, dictates how you get the health back. So, for example, for the Technomancer, whenever I was inflicting damage, I was siphoning off some of the health to replenish my own. But with the Devastator, I only got health back if I killed somebody within a certain vicinity around me, because they were up close and personal melee pugilists. Good word. The powers are really imaginative. With the Devastator, you've got a punch that creates a mini earthquake that strikes people even if they're hidden behind objects. Then you've got like a rock shield of armor, really, that you can summon, and it surrounds your altered with stone. So you've got 8 seconds of invulnerability there. And then also they've got another one, which is like, well, I suppose it's like Code of the Missile, really. You press the button, you go up into the air, you pick your target, and you slam down and damage them. And then using that in concert with your guns is really devastating and effective, hence Devastator. Now, talking about guns and armor, they do really interlink with your powers, because there's so many different elements in the game. You've got freeze, you've got electrical, you've got fire, you've got poison, and who knows what else is hidden away in the full game. Now, as you start getting better weapons, they start having different traits, or mods, I suppose you could call them. So, for example, I had a sniper rifle that when I was shooting people, it took health off them, but it didn't give it to you immediately. It only gave you the health when you did the reload, and then you saw your health coming back, and I thought that was a really nifty idea. You've also got, like, for example, some of your armor. So the gloves, they give the Technomancer's artillery gun thing a lot more range, like 67% more range. So there's a lot of detail, and there are a lot of perks built into the armor and the weapons. Now, they do also have a crafting table where you're going to be able to build and upgrade all of your weapons as you want to do it by putting in odds and sods, mods and bods. Ooh, but we can't do that in the demo, but it still gives you a fantastic taste as to what's to come. Now, there's other things that really interested me in it. First of all, I like the world tier system. Now, as you progress through the game, the world progresses with you, and it goes up in levels. So you start off world tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now, each world tier that you get up to, you get a reward for, and then it makes the game incrementally more difficult to match with your skill as you go up, and then of course the rewards get better. However, if you're finding that new tier a bit too difficult, then you can drop it down so enemies in the world won't be quite as difficult, but of course the rewards won't be quite as good too. When I first went into the game, I was kind of expecting it to be open world, you know, to be able to run wherever you want, jump wherever you want, go here, go there, but it's not. It's definitely set areas. So of course you've got your home hub, which is kind of like the tower, I suppose you could call it, where you can get new missions and stuff like that. And then you've got separate areas that you can go to, but you can't wander off anywhere to see where you can go next. You discover new areas through missions, and they do have a set route through them too. I don't know whether or not that's going to be for the whole game. Probably. However, they do make a point of saying that you're in a valley, an anomaly valley that you can't get out of, and whether we get out of the valley in that part of the game, kind of like when you left Midgard in Final Fantasy VII, you could then walk wherever you wanted to. I don't know if that's the case. However, if you're expecting a free roam, it is not like that. Now, sometimes these missions that you play accumulate in a boss encounter, and there's one in the demo, and it's really enjoyable. It's with an electrical young fellow called Gorse, and I do like the look of these altered. They look really cool. But not only that, the scraps are, well, they're sweaty, and I like that because it's not a walkover by any means, and each class has a completely different kind of play style. So I beat him as a Devastator in a completely different way than I beat him as a Technomancer, because a Technomancer you have to back off, and the Devastator you have to get in. And I really enjoyed the different kinds of attacks, and they felt like different games really between the Devastator and the Technomancer. So I'm really looking forward to playing with the Pyromancer and the Trickster. Ooh, misses sounds a bit rude again. And if you buy the finished game. You're getting the complete experience out of the box. That's what they're saying. So there's no ongoing service element in it like Destiny or Division or Anthem was. May you rest in peace. So you're getting a full, complete game. Now, the end game, after you complete the main story, is something that is called expeditions, which are apparently similar to raids. So that's something that you've got to look forward to after you complete the main story as well. Kind of, I suppose, like GTA, when you can just keep on playing. Right then, here's the thing about it. I want to keep playing it. I want to go back using the different classes and play these same 4 missions again and the 4 side missions again and again, because it all feels so different. I've done the Technomancer, I'm kind of nearly finished the Devastator, I'm going to do the Pyromancer next, and then I'm going to do the Trickster. And that, to me, speaks volumes. I want to keep on playing it. It's funny, and it's just so much fun to play too, so I do think I'm going to end up buying it. Of course, no one gives me these things for free, you know, I'm far too peewee and small for that in the YouTube universe. I've got to spend my hard-earned to get this bloody thing, and like everybody else, I pick and choose what I buy, because games are really expensive these days. PS5 games, 59 quid a pop. What the bloody hell is this, the 90s? I haven't got a Super Nintendo, you know. It's only a PlayStation 5, my god. Pick up that demo, have a go yourself. If you enjoy Gears of War and Bulletstorm and even Destiny and The Division, you'll enjoy this. And if you did enjoy the video, I've got a buy me a coffee page where you can chuck me a couple of quid so I can buy some gruel to paint my hovel with. And also drop me a like and a subscribe too if you enjoyed the video, and a comment as well as to whether or not you're going to try and giving this game a go. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very soon. Sausage out.